in the email today, Ms. Behe asked if y'all would bring curriculum guides and things like that. We're going to use that to kind of create year-long plans for those of you that don't have them, and then kind of add to for those of us who've been here a bit and have our year-long plans already started. But I figured we probably should start off today with what is a year-long plan. So that way we're all clear on the definition and we're all clear on what we're trying to create here. I've abbreviated YLP for the rest of the presentation just to make it easy for myself. It's basically your teaching plan for the year. It's your map. It's your framework, what you're going to be covering, what you're going to be doing throughout the year. Your year-long plan should be matching your TEKS that are assigned to your curriculum level. It also should be matching your Hartford if you're teaching religion. And also we can consider virtues here too. So all of those things are a factor here as well. So you want to make sure that all of those things are aligned. Your year-long plan describes your vision, your focus, and your objectives for the year. Using your year-long plan, you can develop experiences that meet your objectives, as well as creating different learning opportunities for your students, which ideally is why we're here, right? We want to give our students the best education we can and the best opportunities for them to learn what we have to present for them. So that is the purpose, or what is a year-long plan. Why is it important? It's important for you to go through your grade level curriculum and list the skills and objectives that you plan to teach each month. While it's nice to want to do those fun projects that we all like, if it's not in our TEKS or in our Hartford, we really shouldn't be doing it. So this kind of helps us focus on the things that we need to be teaching. It also helps you familiarize with your content so you're not going through the year kind of blind, especially for some of us who are maybe new to teaching or new to the subject or new to the building. You know, to have this mapped out for you kind of helps you with your planning, right? So it helps you throughout the year. You might recall, I know we've slept a lot since we had our first in-service together the first day of school, and you got that red basket that had your curriculum binder and had a bunch of paper clipped together. One of those papers was your year-long plan template. So if you've been in our building for a while, you've seen this before, and you probably have one. Those of you who are new to our building, that's what we're going to be working to create. So as you can see, it's just the months of the year planned out there for you. The top gives us a place for your course or your subject, your grade level, and then the school year. So these are kind of a living document. What you do this year, you may add to as you progress through your years here at SMG. So this is going to be our ultimate goal, is to have this filled out with all the things that we're going to be teaching for the year. So what we're going to do today, and I'm sorry, it's like bringing out the teacher here and me, we're going to do a sample year-long plan activity. So what I have for you guys, we're going to work in teams, is I've got some sample year-long plans, and I want you to look at them through the eyes of the teacher trying to teach that course. So you'll notice kind of like on the example, there was a place for subject and course matter. You'll see that at the top, I've got some math, and I've got some English, and I've got some history. So I got a little smattering of things for you to look at. But I want you to look at each of the year-long plans, and I want you to think, as a group, is this year-long plan a good example of what a teacher should be teaching throughout the year? Is there enough information to show what that course is accurately trying to teach? Is it specific enough? Is it too broad? Is it missing pieces, right? So I kind of got the symbols here, the plus, the at, and the minus. So if you think it's exceptional, at your table you can put a little plus sign next to the pieces that you think are really great. And if you're like, that's kind of average, nothing really great or extravagant about it, you can put your little at sign. If you look at this and think, wow, I don't know where they're going, I can't see their vision, I don't know what their year looks like, then that's when we putting our minus signs, okay? So you're gonna work at your table to do a plus, an at, or a minus. And I'm gonna turn the lights back on so y'all can see. I'm just giving you about 10 minutes or so to go through these. And for my returning teachers, none of these are yours. So rest assured. I've got a few extra copies if some people would like somewhere to write on.
What are you guys reviewing?
It doesn't have TEKS. So, like, it's user probably aligned with the TEKS, but it's harder to tell that all your TEKS are done, so. But they do
I don't want to be recorded on
have
the
nice
microphone.
action.
I was gonna say
This is like
yeah,
yeah, I would say
memorization of
this one kind of tweaks, there's not specific objectives, makes sense to me. Whereas something like this very clearly says like, here are the topics we're gonna be covering. It's not a lot of detail, but at least I know where they're going, what they're gonna be covering this year.
Oh, and it's kind of in chronological. Well,
Yeah, it's like place value, but it doesn't say.
I think we just go there.
What type?
So would you qualify that as average or not?
Like a little more, like instead of place value, what about place value? I mean, you can put it like, yeah, and just that one thing, so I don't feel like that's enough, that is overload. That English is really good to me.
Correct.
I mean, it just has a now.
We can put dots right here and make it better.
Yeah, but it says,
I fixed it.
no, see, it doesn't give you enough.
How's it not giving you any more than this?
I guess because it says like nouns and then proper pronoun.
Yeah.
So instead of saying multiplication, you could be more specific, saying like single digit or whatnot. Is that what you're talking about?
Third grade. They're not gonna do, algebra for third grade.
That's hilarious. That one
I fixed it for you. This one's
Okay, that's ridiculous. Why is it?
way too much information.
It's too specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is, every time we do these, we learn from this is too many mind, that's not enough. I feel like every year it's like, well, I'm supposed to do right.
Look at all this thing. That's division of six.
Is that what we're supposed to do? Yeah.
So what do you think of that one?
I fixed it. It's an average plus.
It's better, because like, it doesn't have the teaks, but it does have more of the verbiage from the teaks, so it's not a teak, it's not an objective, but it's closer to that.
Where's your avocado?
So I like your greater language. That works, Julie, so I can take it home.
And that's what I'm not sure about, so maybe, I have a more, are the teaks supposed to be listed on?
We're gonna get there. But
But
for
couldn't
the,
we put like, in general, we don't have to get like a specific point. I don't know, they get so specific with the standards,
Yeah.
but they're also
This is like.
summarized.
right,
So you could put the summarized
like
standard in
poetry
instead
or
of like,
government.
this, I think this is where we could do this.
So would you rank that as a plus, an at, or a minus?
Minus, I get really confused. I get confused.
I think it's a good map. It's like having all the road signs on GSP.
Like
You
which
know,
one do you want to listen
and
to?
little pictures of every corner and stuff
Right,
like that.
right, too much information? Yeah. Right. Ideally, okay.
Yeah.
So we wanna repeat average, let's do. I mean, and actually this one, even though.
That's average. I want to hear
It
you.
says genius is written in teaks.
And just because it doesn't have the text number, but these are
So, but so what we have to
Do is,
This is like what mine looks like.
I can follow something that
Which, it's nice when you like review, I really focusing on, and then some of the more.
I think that one's good. That's good.
Like,
Why
when
don't
you're
have one
going into
plus?
planning, you're like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Okay, so what's this one?
Kind of stressful to look at sometimes, like especially at the beginning. You're like,
So it doesn't have any subdivisions like this, but I mean, these ones again, multiplication concepts, multiplication facts. I mean, I don't
yeah,
teach
and
math,
true.
but it looks to me
And
like
like
text
this,
things.
the part being like class specific, it's like,
Okay.
yeah, it's week by week, and then also most of them are more specific. So I think Genius Hour, like I
You know,
don't
if no one were looking, I would just have
know,
thought.
it's very.
The kids are gonna talk about You're gonna be able to defend the decision.
This is important, just one to me, because I asked for they go into
Well, I don't know, they touch on some things that I know make sense.
I've been wondering why it
but
looked familiar.
Super, then they don't hit things that I feel like they should.
Yeah.
But if they're gonna identify.
I would say plus. It has the teaks, it has general framework, and they are supposed to be flexible, so.
Okay, I've got some more room for you, but it's going to be about the same amount of time. I think I have some more room for you.
We were in
Alright, are we ready to share some feedback here about these plans?
kind of twitched.
That's interesting, walking around the room and listening to y'all talk. Because some of you guys put plus signs on things, other groups put minus signs on. So it's interesting. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this with y'all today. So our sample one is I don't have my glasses on, I'm sorry. This is the one with the history. It's 8th grade, and it's got our topics here. So did anybody rank this as a plus, like an example of a great year-long plan? Did any team put this as an average? Someone who said average, be willing to share why this is an average plan to you, or good information, basic information, not the best, not the worst. Why is this average? What do you think, Maggie?
I mean, we wrote that, like, you can see that timeline, you can see where they're going, but it needs, like, there's no tweaks and maybe, like, a bit more detail.
Okay, so you can see the math, you can see the year laid out, and just need a little bit more detail. Twana, did you want to add to that?
Well, you don't even know the source that they're getting the information from, so is it news, is it internet, is it a textbook? If
Okay.
so, what textbook?
So where is this coming from?
Yeah.
So that was the question that you had. Anyone put this as a minus, like a really bad example of a year-long plan? Okay, so we're in consensus, this is about average. All right, our second one is the math one. This is a 3rd grade math year-long plan. Anyone put this as superior, the plus, the creme de la creme of year-long plans? Okay, anyone have the at or the average for year-long plans? All right, one from y'all's table. Why did y'all call this average? What do you all right, you say
Well, we just looked at it, and yes, you can see the timeline of how you want it. You can see it's broken down as to what they're doing, but we were saying they might need to add a little bit more detail. So like if you look at place value, are you doing place value to what place? So hundreds, are you doing it decimal place value? What place value is it? So it needs to be a little bit more specific.
Bullet points.
Bullet points, maybe
There you go.
underneath the place value.
Bullet points.
Someone back there, Michelle, Ashley, or Laura, did you want to add anything else to the average point of view here?
Well, I mean, there's no sources, I mean,
But do you really use
I'm
these?
guessing these are key concepts, but knowing for sure what T is.
So where are you pulling from, what T gives us?
So you can be sure that if you looked at it carefully and it was a key concept, you know, okay, throughout the year, we're gonna cover them.
Right, bingo. Okay, what about this next one? This is an English one. What grade is that? Someone got better eyes than I. Four. So we're 4th grade English here.
First of all, they need a bigger font.
That might have been user error, copy and pasting from things, so that might be me. So what do we think about this one? Is this plus? Okay, so we have a plus back here.
We have a plus.
Plus, we have a lot of pluses this time, perfect. Back there, Stephanie, why'd y'all call this a plus?
Well, number one, it's got bullet points.
Stephanie's a fan of the bullet points.
She
Got
is
it.
a big fan.
And I think that it gives you the more, I mean, so nouns, you know exactly what kind of nouns you're looking at. It gives you a little bit of detail, but not too much,
Okay,
not overwhelming.
okay. I had another plus back there. Why did y'all call this one a plus?
Kind of for the same reasons, is that you have kind of the overarching topic that they're gonna focus on, and then some more detailed examples of like what's gonna fit into that category.
So we have the bigger details than some specifics. All right, this is the one that got a lot of hot discussion going at your table. What about this one? Anyone give it the plus, the creme de la creme of year-long plans? Okay, have one table over here, one here. How about y'all, Real? I haven't heard from you yet. Why'd you call it the plus? A great example.
We gave it a plus because of all the detail that it had in it.
Okay,
having the exact teaks and whatnot.
okay. So plus for the detail and the cheeks, did y'all wanna ask that?
Well, it was weekly, I mean, you just know exactly where they're going, there's no question.
Okay, you know
And
exactly
if you
where
don't
they're
know
going.
what it is, you can look it up.
Okay, don't know what you're doing, you can look it up. All right, and we'll put this one at average. Anyone given a minus, like a bad example? This is what I thought was interesting, is we had kind of a room divided here. Someone wanna, Ellen's like, I can tell you why I don't like this.
It's weekly, and we feel like it was too much detail, too much micromanaged. It's not a year.
long
It's
plan.
page 5.
Right.
So you can't.
Did anybody else catch that was page 5? Okay, that was like page 5 of 12, just so you know. So, too much detail.
We had also said that it makes sense to the author, but no one else. That I have absolutely, if I were to come in and pick this up, I don't have any idea.
Right, okay, so
It's a lot.
Too specific to the author, too much detail. Do you want to add anything else to that?
It's overwhelming.
It made me have anxiety.
So, what are we creating here again?
A year-long plan,
right? And what we have here is way too specific. Now, while there are pieces of it that would be appropriate in a year-long plan, what we're trying to create here, that's too much. So the reason I wanted you to see a smattering of different things is to kind of wrap your brain around what we're looking for, because we want some kind of healthy combination of that for your year-long plan. So where are we going to kind of go from here? From here, I want you to kind of start with August and maybe even September, because that's just where we are. Especially for those of you that have nothing, like are starting fresh, clean page, never made one of these before. Those of you that have made these before or have one that you've written, think about what you taught in August and think about what you're teaching now and see how it coincides. We're going to make sloppy copies of these things. I'm using my teacher words there, and we'll eventually get to the final one where we'll type it and make it look nice. But we're going to jot down some of those things we know we taught in August and some of those things we know we've taught now in September. And then we're going to look at those lessons to see how they align to the TEKS, because ultimately that's what we need to see, right? And now that you've kind of seen some examples here, some of you said, well, they had the really big topic and they didn't have anything else underneath it. So as you're thinking about August, think about that really big topic you taught, and then think about those specific things that you're going to want to include, and include some of those TEKS objectives. We're going to work towards a final copy of the year-long plan. Ms. Beakey and I were talking today. When we do that in-service on the 28th, we would like for you to have your map, your year-long plan kind of sketched out. It's going to be added to and worked on as we kind of go through the year. But at that meeting, we're going to try to take those documents and try to work to align across the curriculum a little bit and make sure that we're all teaching what we're supposed to and kind of see what other grade levels are doing and kind of match things up from there. So what I have for you today is a blank copy and some time, the gift of time. We love that, right? So you can work it, which is why we wanted you to bring your materials here with you today. So I'm going to give everybody one, and I know some of you have multiple subjects. I just need to make sure I made enough. If you need another sheet, I can get you one. If you want to move and maybe sit with some of the people that teach the same subject as you, that might not be a bad idea. If you and your teammates want to work together, you could certainly do that as well. But we're going to work till about 4:30. That is our plan. Okay.
In the past, we've been told, you want to put,
Ultimately, we want a little bit more. Oh, thank you. We want those types of things. So if you're doing
they're all
numbers,
I mean,
like ours,
And they're all on your lesson plans.
that's what I'm saying. We're just repeating information that's on our plan, so I don't.
but we want to have the types put back in. So that means,
So, like, you just want us to go here and add to this?
and then we have the virtues program now that we need to add on as well.
I mean, so that's all we're gonna add in here is TEKS for what we did
So
for
you guys
that.
are understanding.
No, that's fine, I just wanna make sure, I'm not gonna go like do all that.
Okay, you're just going
Well, since we teach over,
Do you want
I need to
another
bring
one
my
or do you
TEKS
want?
workbooks down here though. I mean, I have them on here for the ones we've done,
That's the idea. You want to make sure that everything is curriculum.
but I can bring my
Do you need
other.
another one or are you good? I've got mine. Elizabeth, do you need another one? Because I know you guys have two subjects.
Probably yes. We can tear you apart.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
on 28 you want specialist to have one K through 8.
Well, that's what I do have a frame.
Because to me, that's.
It looks
Or like a third grades and then a few of
What it does.
Correct. Hopefully, spend some time with it.
You just want the numbers, Amy, just numbers?
You got to work.
Like writing the whole thing out.
I mean, the one
Okay.
but we're gonna help her with hers. And I have some minor one thing about the class file.
Oh, I was like, yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Different levels.
It is, well, and that's like, you want more, because I really use before, right?
Oh, here's the
I mean, yes.
I've got one just to have, I can leave that, and you'll have to rock, paper, scissors, and mama.
So, I have no idea. Like, but if they're running, they can buy it.
Yeah, so.
Like for my lesson, it's like we have to include so much.
Yeah.
You know,
Just a regular kicker.
I would one for her because, I mean, it makes sense. They gotta, they like basically spiraling.
Did anyone really confirm that this is?
Yeah, so you might need to have one for third grade, one for,
Have like one, but like for seniors, April is like, and then she's got the teams and stuff.
so can you call that, how would you classify, I mean, could you call that one heading and do the
Yeah, like, let's say,
right? So these are green, is that the?
what's the name? It's,
And you're talking about figurative language.
Something like, it's like,
Seniors metaphors. Good reason instead of
right, and so is that 1 month that you did right now, like is that August, or is this like taking you to 2 months?
Actually,
And that's okay, if August and September is one, we have to finish.
We still have one. Don't stay, if you wanna write that.
So then you can spread it out however you see fit.
Because even respect for culture and the way we do things, or it's,
Like right now, we're doing.
I call it respect.
So that is creation. But that could be something you could put in September, like at the holidays, because we make sure that you cover those and. But what? You can stop it from there. Thank